The SR-71 Blackbird was a top-secret invincible aircraft used during the Cold War and is still the fastest passenger aircraft in the world. This aircraft was capable of flying higher and faster than any other during the Cold War, and 55 years after it made its maiden voyage, it is still capable of doing so. Want to know more? Hey guys, welcome to our channel Military Planes, where we tell you about warplanes, from the currently famous in the air to the most advanced around the world. So stay with us till the end of this video so you don't miss out on any of this information. But before we proceed, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell symbol so that you don't miss out on any of our wonderful videos in the future. And let's get started. The Lockheed SR-71 was able to outfly a missile while it was cruising near the edge of space. Its development took place in secret during the late 1950s. It continues to hold the records for the highest altitude achieved in horizontal flight, as well as the record for the fastest speed achieved by an aircraft that is not powered by rockets. Before there were satellites and drones, it was part of a family of spy planes that were designed to fly over hostile territory without the risk of being shot down or even being discovered. The black paint job, which was designed to dissipate heat, earned it the nickname Blackbird. When combined with the sleek lines of the long fuselage, it made the plane look unlike anything that had come before it, a design that hasn't lost any of its brilliance even after all of these years. An aviation historian named Peter Merlin, who is also the author of the book Design and Development of the Blackbird, stated in a phone interview that the aircraft still looks like something from the future even though it was designed back in the 1950s. It gives the impression of being more organic than mechanical due to the way the wing curves and twists as well as the way the fuselage bends. The majority of conventional airplanes have the appearance of having been constructed by someone, but this one almost looks like it was grown. During the month of May in 1960, an American U-2 spy plane was shot down in Soviet airspace while it was taking photographs of the ground below. The U.S. government initially claimed that it was a lost weather research aircraft. However, this explanation quickly crumbled after the Soviet government made public photographs of the captured pilot and the surveillance equipment aboard the plane. The incident had immediate diplomatic repercussions for the Cold War and reinforced the need for a new type of reconnaissance plane that was capable of flying faster and higher while remaining safe from anti-aircraft fire. According to Merlin, the CIA wanted a plane that could fly above 90,000 feet or thereabouts at a high speed and as radar invisible as it was possible to be. The task of designing such an ambitious machine was given to Clarence Kelly Johnson, who is considered to be one of the greatest aircraft designers in the world, and Skunk Works, which is a top-secret division of engineers working for Lockheed. Everything had to be created from scratch, every single thing. The very first member of the Blackbird family was an aircraft known as the A-12, and it successfully completed its first test flight on April 30, 1962. The Central Intelligence Agency oversaw a top-secret, restricted access program that resulted in the production of a total of 13 A-12s. The Blackbird continues to hold many aviation records, even after all these years. In 1990, they were able to complete a coast-to-coast flight in 67 minutes, flying from Los Angeles to Washington. Titanium skin. Due to the fact that the aircraft was intended to travel at speeds greater than 2,000 miles per hour, the friction with the atmosphere around it would cause the fuselage to become so hot that it would melt a conventional airframe. Titanium, a metal that can withstand high temperatures while also being lighter than steel, was chosen to be the material used to construct the airplane for this reason. Using titanium, on the other hand, presented other challenges. Because regular steel tools shattered the brittle titanium when they came into contact with it, it was necessary to first create an entirely new set of tools that were also made of titanium. The first aircraft was flown with no paint at all, revealing a titanium skin that was silver in color. In 1964, after it was realized that black paint, which more effectively absorbs and emits heat, would help lower the temperature of the entire airframe, they were initially painted black for the first time. The Blackbird gave birth to itself. Instead of being designed as a surveillance aircraft, the A-12 eventually morphed into a variant that was intended to be flown as an interceptor, which is a subtype of fighter aircraft. In practice, this meant installing anti-aircraft missiles as well as a second cockpit so that a member of the crew could operate the required radar equipment. The YF-12 was the designation given to this new aircraft, which, with the exception of the front end, was an exact replica of the A-12. While the A-12 remained a closely guarded secret, President Lyndon B. Johnson, 1964, disclosed to the public that the YF-12 did in fact exist, and the United States Air Force went to construct and operate 3 of these aircraft. A third model, known as the M21, was manufactured around this time and featured a pylon on its back for mounting and launching one of the earliest forms of unmanned aerial vehicles. 2 were constructed, but the program was terminated in 1966 after a collision between a drone and its mothership resulted in the death of one of the pilots. The SR-71, which stood for Strategic Reconnaissance and was the final modification of the A-12, made its maiden voyage on December 22, 1964. It featured a twin cockpit and a larger fuel capacity than its predecessor. This is the version that would go on to perform intelligence missions for the U.S. Air Force for over 30 years, and a total of 32 were built, bringing the total number of aircraft in the Blackbird family to 50 in total. Because the fuselage of the SR-71 was constructed with some of the very first composite materials ever used in an aircraft, it was more difficult for hostile radar to pick up on the location of the aircraft. Merlin stated that it had a stealthy nature despite the fact that the term stealth had not yet been coined. The Blackbird was able to enter hostile airspace virtually unnoticed because it flew at a higher altitude than the range of anti-aircraft fire, was faster than a missile, and was barely visible to radar. Merlin explained that the plan was based on the assumption that the target would have already left the area by the time the adversary realized it was there and launched its missile. However, because at the time we did not have access to real-time data links, they had to take pictures using film and then bring the film back to the base so that it could be analyzed and processed. As a direct consequence of this, not a single Blackbird was ever brought down by the hostile fire. However, there were problems with its dependability, and 12 out of 32 of them were destroyed in accidents. In addition to this, the plane was difficult to operate and fly. In order to get the airplane ready to fly, it took an army of people. Because there was such an incredible amount of preparation involved in both getting the crew ready and getting the airplane ready, an unbelievable amount of effort and manpower, a Blackbird operational mission essentially had a countdown just like a space mission did. This was because there was so much preparation involved in getting both the crew and the vehicle ready, said Merlin. Because of the severe environmental factors that are present at high altitudes, the pilots were also required to don specialized attire. According to Merlin, they wore basically a spacesuit, the same sort of thing that you would later see space shuttle crews wearing. When flying at high speeds, the cockpit also got very hot. In fact, it used to get so hot that pilots would warm up their meals by pressing them against the glass when they were on long missions. Although no Blackbirds were ever flown over Soviet airspace, which is something the U.S. government stopped doing entirely after the incident that occurred in 1960, they still played an important role in the Cold War and performed missions of other critical theaters such as the Middle East, Vietnam, and North Korea. And that's it for today, guys. We sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please click on the like button and share it with your friends and family. If you have any questions or comments, please share them with us in the comment space below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see even more of our incredible videos. You can also check out our other videos that have been specially selected for you. We'll catch up in the next video.